All right, so I'm going to talk about the job speech a little bit, getting some emails and some specific questions. Went over it, but I'm just going to go ahead and make this video available. So, the first thing I want to do is talk about why I'm having you do this. That way, you know exactly what I'm going to be looking for. The reason for this is when I was a student, when I was your age, I took too many classes. I was kind of all over the place with my classes. I spent too much money. I went through too much stress that I didn't need to do in order to get my degree. So what this job speech will hopefully do for you, it'll give you kind of a to-do list until you graduate and get ready to, interview for a position you're looking for. So basically what I'm requiring you to do is look at a couple companies that are hiring right now, that are currently hiring in the industry that you want to get in. For example, if you want to be a nurse, you go to maybe Broward Regional's job postings or something. You can find these on Monster or LinkedIn, any of these job posting websites. You can find current jobs in the industry that you want to get. So look at these current jobs for the information that you're just going to pull that information and put it right into the speech, right into the outline of the speech. So before you create the outline, look at a couple companies that are hiring right now in the industry and the type of job that you want to be in when you graduate. So, and then you literally cut that information out of the job posting and put it into this outline. And the outline is attached to the assignment. You see that as well. So really how you start off the speech, just follow this outline specifically, talk about the position you're looking for, name some companies in that industry that are hiring. Where did you get this information from? What are the names of the companies? What are the specific job titles? Some of you, to use the same example as nursing, your job title isn't specifically nurse. Maybe you want to be an emergency room nurse or a neonatal nurse. What are the job titles? And then also, what is the job description? You pull that right out of the ad. What are you going to be doing throughout the day? And I don't need a long laundry list of descriptions. Just 4 or 5 things, maybe 2 or 3, I don't know, of what are you going to be doing throughout the day, the job descriptions. And then, look at this. How much are you going to make? What is your expected salary? And, that's not the end all be all about why you want to go into a certain industry or what company you want to work for, is how much are they going to pay you. But it's important, right? You need to know in the industry you're going to get in, how much are you going to make? How much, can you support the type of lifestyle that you want, your family or whatever? How much are they making today in that industry? And I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised about that. So expected salary and this is really this area of the outline. This is important. So how much are you going to make in the industry? This is what I want you to know. Is the industry growing or is it shrinking? So what does that mean? And I guess to use the same example for nursing, is the nursing industry, is the medical industry, is that growing or shrinking? And the way you would answer that is yes, it is growing. That's why if you get your LPN, there's a $10,000 signing bonus at some of these hospitals. That industry is blowing up. And why? Why is that industry growing? Well, as a population, our humans are living longer than they've ever lived. We have an aging population, So, and as we live longer, we need more care. And we don't have enough nurses to take care of the baby boomers and the aging population. So that is why that industry is growing. So whatever industry you're going to be getting into, I want you to know, is that industry growing or is it shrinking? The example I used in class, the media industry, I sold a television production company. We had, I don't know, maybe 100 employees at the time. Well, that company is a lot smaller now. They hire a lot more independent contractors to do the work. And that industry, in my mind, it's more difficult to get in because on the example I use in class, I've got this, everybody's got this phone. The HD camera that's on the phone used to be 20, 25 grand. Editing software that comes standard on a laptop that you buy, you had to buy a computer that was came with that software specifically designed for editing. Again, 20, 25 grand. Back then, when I was in this industry, was starting this company, people didn't know how to do it because they didn't have access to editing software and digital cameras. Now, everyone has access to it. It comes standard on our phones and our computers. That industry is tough to get in. All I want you to do is know about your industry. Is it growing? Is it shrinking? And why? And you can just do a Google search on that to answer that question. All right. So the next part of the speech, how do you get yourself into a position to get hired? What is the specific degree you're going to get? How many credits do you need? You might be transferring to another university or something. How many credits do you need to transfer? How many credits do you need to graduate? What GPA do you need to graduate? What GPA do you need to transfer? All of these things you need to know. And when do you expect to graduate? What work experience might you need for that position? Some positions you need to do some internships or you need some experience in that industry. Some you don't. So you need to know these types of things. Also, are there certificates or anything along the way that you want to get? As part of the degree, some of these degrees in licensing, they have certificates along the way you can get. And what is your specific plan to separate yourself? Again, when you sit in a lobby and you're interviewing for a position, you're going to be sitting in a lobby with 8 or 10 other people. I don't know, 5 other people, 4, I don't know. Depends on the job. But they're all as qualified as you are. Let me say that again. They are all just as qualified as you are, okay? Generally. So what are you going to do to separate yourself from those others? And then the final part of the speech, which this is a separate part of the speech, but I'm really passionate about this. When you go for an interview, let's say you're interviewing at one of the companies you did your research on, just to keep the same thought process, I'll keep it with nursing and Broward Regional Hospital. When you go and interview at Broward Regional, they're going to ask you, when you sit down at the interview, the first thing they generally say is, tell me a little bit about yourself. And hopefully you have some good answers for that you're passionate about taking care of people, maybe your grandma, I don't know. But at the end of the interview, they generally say, do you have any questions for me about the company or the position? And you have one chance to really nail a couple good questions. So what I'm looking for that's kind of separate from the speech, come up with a couple good questions, as if you're interviewing at the company where you got this information from. What I want to see are company-specific questions. The example I used in class the other day too was maybe if you're looking to be a teacher, middle school, high school, elementary school teacher, I don't know. And they ask you at the end of the interview, they say, do you have any questions about the school or the position? This is what I hope you have. You would say something like this. You would say, yesterday I was preparing for this interview. I did some research on your school, and I noticed that your rating, the school rating, has grown from a C-rated to an A-rated school over the last 5 years. How did you guys accomplish that? Man, what a powerful question. And that's what I'm looking for. Company-specific questions. Not questions that you can use in every company that you interview. Something unique to that company. Maybe they're doing something better than their competitors. Maybe they're growing. Maybe they've received some awards, some recognition. Maybe they've got a new product, a new technology, a new service. I don't know. Whatever it is, ask them about it. And you will be memorable on that interview. So I'm looking for 2 company-specific questions. So once you've gone through the outline of the speech, 5 minutes, tell me, what would your questions be at the end of the interview? And the rubric for the grade is right at the bottom of the outline here. 50% of your grade is on your speech and on those questions. That's half your grade. 50% is how you deliver your speech and on your questions. I don't want to see you reading this entire speech. Follow the outline. You have sentences in your outline or words in your outline, but I don't want you to read this like a book, paragraph by paragraph at all. You need to look up and make eye contact with with me, with the camera, with the class, whoever's watching the speech. And 50% is on the presentation itself and the questions. 25% is on the research that you did. That goes into, is the industry growing or shrinking? You had to do some research on that. And then 25% is on the outline. I want to see that you spend a little bit of time creating a good outline to follow. that you did not write this like a book and read it like a book. Okay, so that's really the rubric, and that's what I'm looking for in this speech. All right.